So, I am here to talk about something very serious. I've been listening to the news for the past few weeks and I've been paying attention. I've been listening to experts, people that understand trade, trade war, tariffs, market, business, relationship, everything that has to do with global and world economy. But the thing that I've come to realize right now is that there is a fundamental difference between the trade of the 20th century and the trade of the 21st century. We are we are the first quarter of the 21st century. But what has been achieved in the first quarter of the 21st century surpassed what was achieved in the whole of the 20th century. This is a 6G, not even a 5G any longer. But I'm talking about speed. We're not even talking about 5G speed anymore. We're talking about 6G speed. And I'm telling you, at the downturn of the 21st century, getting into 22nd century, is going to be 10G for real. But what I'm trying to say in essence is this: market, trade, tariffs, sanctions is something that has become so outdated today that implementing those things is like somebody taking a gun and pow on his foot. But this time around, it's not pow on your foot. It's like on your temple, you know? So, the past 2 weeks have grabbed my attention. But the past 2 weeks has also told me one thing: that the global order has totally shifted, especially in the last week. The global order has shifted. No going back. A superpower has leveled to the rest of the superpowers, upcoming superpowers. The world as we know it has changed, and it has changed forever. The globe is never going to be the same anymore. So, the question we're going to be asking today is not between China and United States who is going to win the trade war. The question is, where am I going to be? Where are you going to be in this trade war? Because I have to say this: the investment is going to be enormous than you think. Investment opportunity is going to be 10 times what you think. Because look at it this way: the world itself has been investing mostly in the West, which to me is about 20% of global wealth. But now, the rest of the 80% is wide open. Investment opportunity today is not constrained or focused only on one part of the polar system, but now it's become a unipolar system. So the question that we're going to ask ourselves: does that mean that the power of the United States is falling? No, it's just balancing. The politicians might have the mindset of the 20th century, but how can the United States navigate in the 21st century? That's a whole total different headache. There is something that I've always talked about when it comes to welfare. When it comes to welfare, I always say to people, do not underestimate the power of your opponent. But in not underestimating the power of your opponent, what is your opponent doing that you're not doing? How is he training? How is he preparing? How is the divestment of your opponent? Are you divested? Where are the interests of your opponent? What is the market today? Are you investing in the right things? And it comes down to the point where the focus remains that the United States has built its economy around the military. It also built its economy around service industry. Manufacturing is not what America has been putting its mind and attention into. And all these things weren't done because America doesn't have the capital to do it. It's been done because America has become lazy. America has chosen to build an economy based on service industry where people only sit in office and expect to use other people's brain for their own profit. It's called greed. But exporting trades, exporting goods, keeping services in the United States, and sometimes exporting its service itself around the world. Whereas China and the rest of the global south are focusing on manufacturing. America didn't take away manufacturing out of the United States because it had to keep it in the US. No, it took it out because of greed and profit. But in its greed and profit, it finds that the people outside the United States are also very, very competitive when it comes to knowledge and production. And the problem becomes that in the investment that the United States has done, bringing the manufacturing back in the US as President Trump has promised America is not as simple as people think it will be. Number one, manufacturing in the Midwest, the hard hit, it's not going to be possible. The reason why it's not going to be possible is because the rest of the world now is becoming nationalized instead of globalized. Nationalized in the sense that every country wants the product sold in each country that half or greater percentage of it is made in that country. They don't have problem having multinationals, but now multinationals are not going to be the ones in charge and in control of those companies any longer. They will be owning, but smaller percentage. These countries want most of the percent of those companies to be owned by their people. But if multinationals are bringing to the list of the agreement, might be that 40 to 30% of the product will be owned by locals, the rest will be owned by multinationals. That is where the world is moving. And the gun, those days are gone, the gun is those days when multinationals used to say, if you don't allow my company to come into your country, I'm going to sanction you. I will tell you this, in the next 3 to 5 years, the sanction that comes from the United States will not have power anymore. It's not going to have that teeth because of the global integration. But the question is, how can America survive in this environment? Bringing factories back to the United States is not going to be the solution. The solution is the United States has to go back to the drawing board. Create a niche. Find out where to invest, put the investment in the right hands, take away the oligarchs that are always running to take over things and make profit out of it, and when they dry and destroy the company, they put it up for sale. deny hedge funds managers access to critical companies in the United States, bring engineers back to manage Boeing, and take away investors from Boeing and critical infrastructures and critical companies and critical assets of the United States. Let the people with the education of that field to be the ones running the field, not Proud Boys or the same guys that went to the same university and got the same degree, coalesced together, only interested in making profits and not efficiency. Not interested in efficiency, not interested in durability, not interested in anything that will better the product of that of the manufacturing, but only interested in their pocket. These are men that are supposed to be removed from decision making. But it's not going to be that easy. America has to go back to drawing board. And I will tell you this. The painful truth about it is this. United States itself cannot do this in 2 years. In 5 years. This takes a whole generation, 25 years to achieve this. That is to tell you that the progress in China today was mapped, the progress of what we see, or the manifestation of what we see from China today was laid 50 years ago. It wasn't done today. Moi laid this 50 years ago. Chinese leaders laid this 50 years ago. Back in the 60s and the 70s, they laid this foundation. 60 years ago, 50 years ago, 60 years ago, they laid this foundation. And that's the manifestation of what we're saying today. So for United States to achieve, to crack the surface of what I'm talking about, which I'm going to get into more detail later on, it's going to take a long time. But just imagine how in that 25 years, how far China will go in that 25 years. There is no cut. There is no cutting of corner in this. You cannot cut the corner. You have to go through that process. Bringing back the manufacturing of the 20th century is not going to fit in the 21st century. The technology is not the same. It's gone too far. But what I'm saying is this. Does America have the patience to go back to the drawing board? That's my question. Does America have the patience to go back to the drawing board? Will America go back to the drawing board? The society is so tainted that the group of men that are in charge today do not have the patience. They want a 25-year process result to be in a year or less during his presidential tenure. Continuation in manufacturing is something that the United States is not really interested, or presidents in the US or administrations don't have patience for anymore. Because one thing that have been demonstrated in the last 10 years is that incumbents cannot any longer win second term consecutively. They cannot. So the maximum today in America political system is that an incumbent, whatever he or she does, only have 4 years, which is like a Virginia style. Instead of Virginia style. The state of Virginia style. So that's what America has demonstrated in 3 presidential cycles, that you cannot just win an election, make promises, and come back and win re-election. The country has become impatient that you have to produce in that 4 years. If you don't, they kick you out of office. The next person comes in. It has its benefit. The benefit is it puts the onus and the pressure on the president to perform. Yes. Telling the president that you only have 4 years to do this. If you don't, we'll take you out. But what happened is that when the next president comes in, this is the bad part of it. Instead of that next president continuing from whatever the other president left over to make a legacy out of it, it destroys all of that and rebuilds its own. But guess what? Destroying what is built is very easy. Any day, anytime. Destroying what is built is very easy. You can knock down a 100-story building down in 1 month, but you can never rebuild it in a month. It takes time. It takes process to rebuild that which has been destroyed. But United States doesn't have that patience any longer. And the incoming president is not going to take the project that the past president or the outgoing president is working on and say, okay, let me finish this. They don't believe in continuation. Some of them believe in vendetta. I have to destroy whatever the other president had, and I have to build my own, and then it's going to be my name on it, not the former president's name. What it does is that it destroys continuation, and then because it takes too long to build that which is destroyed, the whatever project that was started from the previous administration, the achievement of that becomes infinity. It becomes infinity because whatever is done is undone. And once it's undone, it takes a long time to rebuild. So that is the problem we have. And due to that factor, and the great democracy becoming the great problem for United States matching China. The war has been lost by the US. But the world needs US. We need balance of power. We don't just need 2 countries. We need multiple countries to create balance, to create good support. A single support cannot carry a big weight any longer. You need multiple supports to be able to have what we call weight distribution in engineering, so that the pressure exerted on that single weight will be distributed among other supports, so that way it can create balance. And whenever there is storm or whatever latitudinal force or gravitational force that is exerted on that weight or object, it doesn't shear or fracture. That's engineering. But my thing is, the world you need is United States. But United States cannot come and take its seat the way it used to taking its seat. United States has to now go back to the drawing board and come up with a plan of its mission in order to now sit down amongst the giants. It has to go to the drawing board. Those days are gone. But what is today, what we have today is a unipolar system, is a multipolar system, not a unipolar system anymore. So we need America to do it right. To do it right, and they have to do it right. The world has changed. The world has changed. I will do more video soon on this topic. Thank you guys. Have a good day. Be safe out there and have a good weekend. Bye-bye.